to be a part of it. Live from Music City, this is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, aspirational, international, keenly awaited, daily created, highly anticipated edition of the Afternoon Swing Trading Floor with your humble host, Jeremy Alexanderson, with another daily dose of mentally delicious brain food, reminding each of you to love life, live life, and trade it. Team, folks, and friends from around the world. Again, just a breakdown. I know a lot of you love looking and watching at the very, very first outset of the trading rooms. So I will say this. Remember, there are long-term investments and there are swing trade / day trade, essentially cash flow creation opportunities or goals that you're after, right? That's what we're trying to do. And long term, I am perma bullish. I will pretty much always be. I love making money in down markets. There's very rarely things that are as exciting as that. But I do have long-term investments. I think we should all have long-term investments. I think you should all have accounts where you just keep buying assets, no matter what price, doesn't matter if they're up or down, just keep hitting that buy button on a weekly or monthly basis, right? That is absolutely the case. And that's how you get rich long-term, is you do it slowly. And then the cash flow creation, the goal, of course, is to, as everyone here, right, make enough money from trading actively to pay your expenses and give you some additional money left over for all the fun things in life. Because if you can do that, then you can trade full time and you can get your life in the direction that you want to go mentally or spiritually, emotionally, or whatever. And that is absolutely the point. That is absolutely the goal. And a lot of times our brain tells us, because our normal life, our normal day-to-day routine, we spend 45 hours at work every week to pay our bills. But trading is the exact opposite. You do not have to do that. You should and can practice, but this is a profession. This is a sport. This is like anything else. If let's see who's here. Crystal, what's your favorite sport, Crystal? The one that you watch the most, the one that you like. What do you think? What's your favorite? Or Peggy, whoever's here. Peggy, what's your favorite? Oh, Crystal says MMA is her favorite. Okay, nice. Well, that one strikes my chord because I did a lot of MMA. I say a lot. I did a little sprinkle of MMA for a few years of my life. How long does Conor McGregor actually fight to get paid? How long does he actually fight to get paid? 25 minutes. All right. 25 minutes. That's it. 12, 3, if that. Now, does he do that every day, every week? No. Right. This is when he's in battle. This is when he's there, putting in the time, putting in the grind. This is you trading. This is you actually pressing the buttons. This is you being on the battlefield and using your cash to try to make more cash. What does Conor McGregor do on the back side of making the money that he makes? Training. Now, also keep in mind the nuances of what makes an MMA fighter or whoever, an athlete, special isn't necessarily the actions of what he does. Because are there fighters better than Conor McGregor? Oh, of course, absolutely. But he gets paid the most in MMA for the particulars, for those nuances, for the things that other people are afraid to do, to say the things and to say them the way he says them, and so on and so forth. Would you all agree? Those are the tiny nuances. And so your trading is very similar. Your training is you back trading, you being in the trading rooms, you looking at charts, you listening to Johnny Guarco, you reviewing candles, you reviewing gaps, printing them out, holding them in pieces of paper, doing speed drills, coming to Nashville, working with me, coming to Utah, working with Tony, going to Hawaii, working with Johnny. That's the training that's required to be a professional athlete. Doing some, whatever it is, typing faster, those nuances is what helps you get paid. But this, to get like the grand scheme of things, you're not doing it extremely often. The actual pressing the buttons in the trading. It doesn't have to be hard. It's actually very easy. It's just difficult. Walking 1,000 miles is difficult, but walking is easy. So it's this constant approach over and over and over. So a lot of you ask me, like, in fact, I had a good friend of mine, Chris Stanley, came to my house to do some coaching with me about this time last year. Actually, yeah, exactly 1 year ago. And Chris came into my office and he was like, dude, I expected you to have 88 monitors all around your room and like a laptop connected Frankenstein style with bolts to your neck, and you just turn and look at markets all day. That's what I expected when I came into your office. And instead he sees 2 chairs and a desk and a treadmill and a lot of books. Right? Because when you practice, you can look at a chart and go, oh, wow, here's the setup. Here is the 10 EMA, bear candle closing above the 10. Here's the 2, here's a support resistance level I'm going to sell it at. Boom, you're done. Like it doesn't have to be extremely difficult. Everything takes time. Everything takes money. In fact, I would love for anyone, I challenge anyone here to give me something that doesn't take time or money so I can invest all my money and time into that thing. But if you're here and you want to do this and you want propulsion, I can say this for sure. Trading is definitely a path to financial freedom, but it's not the only path. And there's one of 2 things that will happen. This is either the path for your financial freedom and you will make millions and you will be totally just a cash cow, opening the market, pressing buttons and making money. That'll be 5% of you. Or it'll lead you down the path to find the thing that excites you after you've spent the time, the energy, and the effort to allow you to make money that way. But you will never find that path unless you walk a little bit farther. Type in a 7. This is making sense and getting you fired up just a little bit. Because here's the truth, my dear friends. It's Thursday, and I will absolutely be going through all the stocks and everything that we have to offer. But I do want to present an agreement with every single person here. If you are interested in walking down a path to financial freedom, it will be with real life trading, and it will cost $275 a month or $3,000 a year. It will cost money. Everything costs money. Everything costs time. Up to you. Do you want to put in the effort? Are you committed? If you are committed, join, become part of the team, become part of the community. 5 months, 5 years, or 55 years, there will be steps that are scary, that are terrifying, that are unique, that are worrisome, but that have to be taken in order for you to obtain the financial freedom that you're looking for. So I'm going to pause here for a moment and just ask, what questions do you have before I go through all the stocks, all my analysis, and look at what is available to you? Let's talk about the membership and let's just get this out the way so that you feel comfortable and you have your questions answered. because I'm sure you all have some questions, even though you've been experiencing the all access pass. You know what it's like, what questions you have, because everyone here should sign up. I mean, it's worth it. Mark says, do you have videos on using different platforms? Yes, we do. Great question. What's the next one? And if you're like, it's too long to type, just say unmute and I'll unmute you. And then you can ask me if it's just like a long question. I'm okay to hang out here for just a little bit if you all are. And I promise if you're watching this recording and you're like, I'm already in it, dude, I'm already paid, just skip ahead then. Where I'm starting to look at stocks and I'm happy to do that. If you're here live, you can't fast forward live, unfortunately. Unless you have 1.1 gigawatts, then you can do whatever you want. Was that the number 1.1 gigawatts? 1.21? Was it 1.21 gigawatts? You guys good? Brandon, I talked to one of your buddies today, David. Him and I had a good chat. Quan says, I'm going to sign up. Beautiful. Let's get after it, my baby. Let's go. Let's do it. Any other questions? I can throw this link in the chat pane if you want, if that's what it's a long link, but again, this is $275 a month. Less than my cell phone bill. You guys need my Verizon bill for me, my wife, and her mom. Crystal says, I will be here Monday signing up and I'm gonna get some mentoring. What? Nice, Crystal. Let's go. Let's do it. Daniel says, is there an RLT Australia? Yes, there is. Yep. And if you live in Australia, Daniel, email Ricky at reallifetrading.com. Get on their schedule. Emily's stoked about it. She's excited to work with Crystal. Okay. Beautiful job, team. Love it. All right, let's dive in. And then I'll tell you two stories today. I'm gonna tell you a story about Zach Johnson and David Wygant, who are both here, but I do want to tell you their stories. But I think they're great stories. So Zach, if I make you blush, I'm sorry. And David, I can't make you blush because you're always on fire. Here's the cues. We just keep going straight up. I mean, just unstoppable. Here is your bear candle closing above the 10. So if you're playing something long, you are enjoying the ride. And I do have some long positions that are just gaining money. If you have puts, rip. But at 33333, I'm going to take a bet, and I'm going to put some money behind some bearish positions right at the 100 simple moving average on a weekly chart. And I could be wrong, and I'm going to have a stop loss on them, and I'm going to lose money if it does not go lower, and that's okay. But I do have some bull positions right now, and I got some bear positions right now. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. But here we go. We are running up, and we just keep going higher every single day on the cues for right now. Here's the Dow Jones. Dow Jones ETF is compressing very nicely. So again, we can go either direction, up or down, but we're compressing right at the 100. We can explode higher, no problem. Although I think it would be probably one day, maybe two. I don't necessarily know how big the explosion will be, but if you play it to the upside, let's say it happens tomorrow and we get a nice, good bullish gap above the high of today, and we have a nice bull candle like this. Coming into the weekends, I would sell. Especially if we make a new high relative to this resistance here. Again, I'm not saying that's going to happen or that it has to. I'm just letting you know that if that occurred, that's what I would do. Really, really cute, super nice candle, inside candle, building some pressure on top of the 100 SMA, above the 10 EMA, looking nice. Here's the IWM. IWM back at some resistance. So we're at the spot, team. We're here. I mean, just a few days later, we're going to see if we have any kind of actual selling, or if we just trade sideways a little bit and then we keep crushing. Because by the way, this is very possible. Just because I'm going to short a lot of things at all threes on the Qs does not mean that it's not going to go up more. Jill says, I'm not seeing the chart. Can you guys see the chart? might be your Zoom thing might be somewhere. Okay, you guys do see it. All right. So yeah, Jill, I think maybe there's a screen hiding from you somewhere. Beautiful. Well, anyway, that's the overall aspect of the larger markets, bigger picture. And let's go look at some stocks that you all requested yesterday. And we'll start with Uber. And Uber has continued to go up. I didn't get a chance to get in yet because again, I wanted a little bit of a pullback and just haven't gotten it from a swing trade perspective. And that's okay. So I am missing this move on Uber personally. It is, and it did come down to these COVID lows. It did bounce off the COVID lows. And I think this was a good spot for that to happen at. Really good move, really good gap. I love this open because this open here was just above all this resistance and above the 100. I think it just kind of squeezed some bears. And so next stop for Uber is $33. Airbnb, very, very strong, super similar candle pattern to AMD. And the pattern was, right, you had this bull candle gapping down and this on earnings, the exact second that it opened, it started getting bought up. Here was a double bottom right there, closed with a neckline, retested. This little gap right there was a gap and go, traded. And the gap down, the reason I think the gap down got bought up essentially was because of this old support-ish level new resistance. Also because of the moving averages. Here's the moving averages right here. Right, just kind of came down to the 10 and the 20. And I think the overall trend looks nice. So yeah, Airbnb rocking it out. And I really like Airbnb company because it's essentially a force for good company. What I mean by that is I think Airbnb, I'm quite confident Airbnb will go higher long-term. And so if you're slowly accumulating it at good levels, I think that's not a terrible idea to have. But essentially, if you have a home and you Airbnb it out, you bring in extra income. Wow, how smart is that? Really, really intriguing application for your money, for your house to turn it into an asset rather than a liability. And I know everyone here knows the definition, but a liability is something that you pay for that does not put money or value or ideas or knowledge or networks into your life or into your bank account. So a home, if you pay a mortgage every month and it doesn't make you any additional money other than that, you own a liability. If you haven't found a way for your house to make money, it's a liability. Now, is that a bad thing? I mean, not necessarily. I mean, I don't think so. You got to live somewhere. It's not a bad thing. It's just a thing. It just is. But Airbnb, I mean, that's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. You'll probably get a small bear candle in the next 2 or 3 days, and I think it's a buyable event. And it's likely going to trade up into the 100 simple moving average on Airbnb. Chicago Board of Options Exchange, the CBOE has not taken out the 100. It probably won't. So I'll keep kind of waiting on that. Weekly chart, you'll see it was a really good pullback. And I like that dip. I like that lower shadow. And if I'm looking at this, I also kind of see a little bit of a double bottom here. Boom, 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 boom. Nice double bottom and really good retest of that neckline. So that's kind of cool. Super intriguing stuff on CBOE. Good pullback and nice looking move. Here's NEO. And I talked a little bit about NEO yesterday. And I do like the candle that came in today. Again, I mentioned that this was a bear candle, but it wasn't a perfect bear candle. I mean, it's a doji essentially. And it's trying to bounce off the 200 simple on a weekly chart. So as far as buying a pullback into that doji and setting a stop loss below here, you can certainly do that. 2045 by 1845, $2. Let's go NEO. Let's see if NEO works for us on a swing trade. New swing trade on Neo. I'll put this one on the trade journal, minimize these over here, pop that there, do this, bang, swing trade, sorry. And while I'm doing this, I'm gonna tell you guys a funny story about David Wygant. On a 1 to 10 scale, David, how would you rate yourself as a trader 5 years ago? 1 being awful. I think everyone knows how the 1 to 10 scale works. I don't know why people even explain it. I think everyone gets it. 2045, 1845. Maybe Dave is not, maybe he's not here anymore. He says a 1.9. Okay. 1.9. So it wasn't the best trader in the world by any stretch of the imagination. So 1 is as low as you can go. 5 years ago, he gives himself a 1.9. And David had a different career, totally different profession. Let's call it 10 years ago, a whole different way of making money, and did well. He did well in life. He was crushing it, but just was getting, I don't know, wanted more zest, wanted more zeal, wanted something a little different, had been doing the same thing for a bit. And for a bit, let's call it 20 years. He was bored. Type in a 9 if you're bored. I'm not going to call out your names, but just throw it out. Like if you're at work, you're like, I'm bored of this life. I want something different. So my man was bored. He's like, I'm just bored. So he said, I'm going to start trading. I'm going to learn how to trade. And he began pouring in time learning how to trade. And by learning how to trade, my man, David, went to every trading room, every instructor, paid for every course, bought everything in the books, bought them all. Bought every single thing. And he told me that he would be watching, when he would go to a massage, he would have his iPad in front of him, right below the face hole of a massage, watching charts. If he was driving, he would have trading podcasts on. If he was alive, if he was awake, he was studying trading and charts and patterns. And he ended up coming to Nashville. Him and I worked out together. We traded together. We studied together. We spent 40-ish hours poring over charts and trading. And he didn't work with just me. He worked with all kinds of mentors, interviewed all kinds of mentors, paid for all kinds of people, paid for all kinds of education. Remember, we only have time or money. And then David developed his own strategy, right? Just like Johnny, takes everything that he learned and it made sense in his brain and took his awareness and chart reading and capabilities and understanding and became a full-time trader. Starting small, didn't swing for the fences, $100 a day, $100 chipping away. Chip. Did that for a few months. Felt kind of comfortable. Then 200. Then 3. Where are you at now, David? I had to guess 800, maybe a little bit more now. 1,000. There we go. It scales, ladies and gentlemen. So his goal is about $1,000 or so a day. Does he hit it every day? No, but you don't have to at that point. You don't have to. You don't have to make money every day to make money every month, but you can scale it. Now, who here has done the math? What's 1,000 times 200 days out of the year? 200 grand. Is that livable money? It is, especially in Atlanta. So my boy David moved from LA, which is like, LA sucks, and moved to Atlanta. Now, for all those who live in LA, I'm not saying that LA sucked. I'm just saying that David, who lived there for many years, said it sucked and then moved. But I could also say LA sucks because I live in Nashville. So LA is kind of awful. But anyway, he moved to Atlanta and it's better financially from a tax and income and all things money perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, was David obsessed? He was obsessed. Studied it. Did he have fear? Sure. He had fear, but he overcame it. Got to be obsessed. You got to be average. You got to spend time. You got to do what you need to do when you need to do it. You got to put in the energy, put in the effort. You have to be really intentional about your day, about your life, about what you're trying to do. Feel free to go check him out. Here's David Wygant. He posts very, very in-depth videos and conversations on his life and his mindset and abundance. And he has 42,000 subscribers, tons of videos, tons of podcasts. But long story short, it doesn't take a lot. It takes a lot to Rome wasn't built in a day, but it was built every day. Let's go. DocuSign. Got our nice little support resistance building here. We're at the top of the channel. And we just expect a small little rest and then probably a pop out of here into the 100 simple moving average. You know, if the whole market pops, I mean, DocuSign, again, from a technology perspective is cool. Fundamental perspective, it's a little on the weaker side. It is back at COVID lows. So I'm not saying it has to go higher and just run to the hills, but I am saying that all these things can pop a few points. Do not think the market is too high, because it's not. Yes, some things are at some resistance levels, but we can pop out of these resistance levels. Especially if we have 2 or 3 days of sideways movement on not only DocuSign, but the rest of the market. There's a gap here that can definitely be filled on DocuSign. And again, if you can find a great pattern like this one on DocuSign, this is a very, very pretty pattern, nice little compression pattern. You get 2 or 3 days of rest here and it just kind of hangs out. And then we get a pop from 72.50 to 77.50. That could make my whole month, right? That $5 a share on 2,000 shares, 10 grand. I mean, that can make a month. You don't need tons more. That can be a very good month, I think. Again, just seeing this, planning this, thinking about this. This is Delta. Now, Delta, this was a trade that we purchased with some shares back over here. We were talking about Delta, and I just figured it was too low. This one I was traveling, where I was about to travel, and I was like, hey, I'm taking a bunch of Delta flights. And I had taken another previous Delta flight in June, and it went really well, or at least I felt it did. And if I'm looking at the chart on Delta, it just kind of seemed low. And I thought to myself, team, I think we could buy a little Delta here. I think the risk reward looks nice. And what I'll do at the time, if it breaks below here, is I'll buy some protective puts. Now, don't give me the excuse that you don't know anything about options, because if at any point in time you want to learn options, I have tons of education for free on YouTube, and we have all the videos that you could handle right here. It doesn't take that much time. It takes time, but not that much time. The amount of things I'm going to do this weekend before 9 a.m., most people won't do in a month. You can do it if you carve out the time. Just get intentional. Tell the family, tell the kids, tell the husband, tell the wife, tell the boss, tell whoever you need to tell, and then make it happen. Got to get up at 4 in the morning? Cool. Wake up at 4 in the morning, get some coffee, do some push-ups, grind it out for 5 hours. From 4 to 9 a.m., oh my goodness. Oh boy. So Delta, bought some shares, and on this day here, this bullish day that gapped down, this was the 21st of July, got into a collar. So a collar was selling calls and buying puts. So I have a $35 covered call and a 32 protective put for Delta. Now we bought some shares at 29. So this is an unlosable position for until August. And my expectation is that Delta probably expires worthless, this collar, and then I can get into another collar up here and buy a protective put here. Now, even though that might sound like jargon, you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. Type in a 4 if you think it would be beneficial for your life to learn about a strategy where you can create an losable trade in the markets. You don't want to spend $275 a month. Come on, give me a break. Come on. Not bad. It's not hard. It takes time. Because when you guys win the lottery or close a big sale or get a big commission check and you nail it, you're going to need to do something with your money. It's a great strategy to know. All right, so that's Delta. That's really it. I do think Delta can slowly continue higher. I think buying a pullback into here, if that happens, does make sense. And I still think there's some meat on the bones for a buy low, sell high perspective on Delta. If we're just looking at it from, a big perspective, can it go lower? Absolutely. I would really prefer to buy a lot at 23. But I have an unlosable position. I'm just going to hang out here until August 19th and see what it does. MRK, American company. So this one, I mean, I would like to short it, but this is not really the first bull candle below the 10. The first bull candles were over here. And let's back trade this one for just a moment because this is an intriguing scenario. Let's see if Leslie, you here? Jack, you guys here? No, Johnny's here. Johnny's always here. Okay, Leslie's not here, but Peggy's here. All right, so Peggy, is this a bull candle closing below the 10? Yes, it is. So, okay, this is the first one. You're looking to short here, stop loss there. Boom, that's the trade. All right, well, the next candle that comes in, don't trigger, nothing special happens, all good, whatever, nothing unique. You're still waiting. Next candle that comes in is another bull candle that closes below the 10 EMA. So what could you do in this situation? Well, it gives you the ability to actually raise your entry and maybe even short a little bit higher. So you could take your entry and move it up to there, take your stop loss, move it up maybe just a penny or two. So you move your stop a little bit, maybe just a penny or two, and you move your entry until it gives you a better risk reward because this is a bull candle that closes below the 10 EMA. Well, next candle, do you get triggered in? No. Next candle, is this another bull candle that closes below the 10? What do you guys think? Yes or no? Yep, it's another one. So you can go, okay, well, I'll do it again. I'll increase my entry and put it here. And maybe I'll take my stop loss and move it up a penny or two. I'm still getting pretty okay risk reward ratio. All right. And then you look at the numbers, 92.80 by 89.85. Maybe you're like, okay, you know what? Let me just put my stop loss at, I don't know, 95 cents. Make it an even $3 so that the math is super simple. Okay, cool. Did you get filled? You're in. Right. And if we play it out to present day, you're still in if you want to be. Question, could you exit here and take a win? Sure. Of course you could. Could you move your stop loss down and continue holding? Sure. Could you exit a partial and move your stop down? Sure. What it comes down to is you knowing what you're going to do in each situation and then just kind of doing that for a certain time period. The reason I'm focusing on the 10 EMA strategy for 2022 is not because I don't know any other strategy. It's to show you all that I can, number one. And number two, to make sure that everyone masters it, because I'm still getting questions from people because they're not mastering it yet. So I want to make sure as many people master it as possible, because once you master it, then it becomes easy. And then you can go and make tons of money trading, and then you can go find other strategies. Hector says you could sell a covered put. Yeah, absolutely, baby. Of course you can. Short the shares. Well, just sell a put down here against the short shares. Boom. Covered put. Practice, practice, practice. All right. Tesla. I mean, it honestly, guys, just keeps slowly going up. It is. I mean, we keep battling the 200, but this one, I mean, Tesla was tricky today. I'll grant you that. So if we pop in here to a 3-minute chart, Tesla was tricky Ricky. Kind of. So you have bear candles. And I mean, right, you're probably getting in bullish around there somewhere. Would that have worked? Did you make money bullish on Tesla? No. Now, the reason that I think Tesla's having a hard time with breakouts is because it's so high. So right now, I'm more inclined to play bear moves, or if I'm going to play bullish, buy as low as possible. Maybe even use a different strategy other than the 10 EMA, like buying at previous highs of days or buying retests, pullbacks. I can implement those strategies. I haven't. I'm just saying that you could, but Tesla didn't work today because I think it's just a little high on the daily chart, but no big deal. All good. Tesla did not work bullish. Got it. However, what is this right here? Low of the day. Oh, wow. We have a bull candle closing below the 10 EMA. Strange. And then you have an inside candle, and then you have another inside candle. Can you short here? Stop up here? How easy is that? Not the easiest trade you've ever seen? Thought so. I thought so. Now remember, Tesla is bullish. The trend is bullish. There is no bearish gap. There's no one scared. There's no one losing money. So if you are shorting, you're playing counter trend. So when you're playing a counter trend trade, should you be faster on your exits? Sure. So it breaks down here. You're able to get out, take an R, strong R. It comes all the way back to the 10 EMA, another bull candle below the 10. Short there, stop there, new low of day, 1.2 Rs, exit again. It's not a hard, team. So you would have lost money on the bull. You would have made money on the short, make more than you lose. Literally did that Monday with me. We would have done that together on Tesla on Monday. Pretty cool stuff, right? I think so. So there you have it. And then for the rest of the day, just kind of like pitter pattered around, didn't really do very much. And I'm interested to see what happens tomorrow. Now, again, there is some compression here, right? There's higher lows and higher highs. You have a bear candle here, bear candle here. So if Tesla gaps up tomorrow, it can be bullish. If it opens above the high of both of those, the propensity to be bullish increases, but I would still like to buy some type of pullback because, again, it's a little on the high side. Is that divergence on the daily, says Cam? We'll have to look at a divergence indicator. RSI, nope, no divergence on the daily. All right, that's Tesla. Long, it looks strong right now. Mike says, so you are running the show for the $275 monthly fee. You can see, Mike, if you go to live trading, you're welcome to go through the schedule and see what the show is and see when I'm on. You can click through any of these. I'm here usually about 12 hours a week, give or take. So I'm here a lot, but it's not the Jeremy show, my man. I have assembled the best, the most caring team on planet Earth who will drag their broken legs over glass to teach you how to make money in the markets. And we'll do it for free. We'll do it voluntarily. We'll do it to get paid. They don't care. They're here to help you. So, great team. Lazy boy. Lazy boy. Just looks like it slowly goes up over time. Was there a signal to get in recently? Let's go look at the daily chart. Yeah, here's your bear candle closing above the 10 right there. July 6th, entry above there, stop below there. Bloop. It's working nice. It's a little on the high side right now, so I probably wouldn't buy it at this exact moment. But if you have some shares, I would get into a collar. sell a covered call, buy some protective puts. Earnings are in late August, so I probably will do that collar in September and sit back, relax, and enjoy. Sunrun, RUN. So RUN had a nice little retest gap here on July 28th, and we have been retesting the last 2 or 3 days. I have a candlestick pattern that I like here a lot. And here is the weekly chart. And the weekly chart, we also have a potential double bottom on Sunrun. We have a potential close of the neckline and a potential retest here. Good volume coming in. That's strong. Here is the long-term moving averages, and we're right on top of the 200 simple on a weekly, which is nice. So that's going to act as a potential little resistance there. And then here's the monthly chart. And the monthly chart, you are above the 10 and the 50 EMA, but the 20 is a little bit of a target here. So we'll just kind of draw that line until we know where it's at. All right, so now back to the daily chart. We have a hammer-ish candle that previous candle was bearish. We gapped up into a bear candle. So 2 bear hammer candles back to back at the 200 simple moving average on the daily chart. I will set this trade up, and this will just be a partial for my more advanced traders. A small little spot to take a little bit of a gain. I'll just say partial target. For my more advanced traders, they'll know what to do. But if you're newer, just sell there. Lock a little bit of a gain. That's about $2 a share. And it will only get triggered in if it goes higher. And the longer that compresses, the more I like it. New swing trade on run. Bang. Pop that in here. Bloop. John says, I love that pattern. Yeah, bro. Are you in 33.22, 28.87? Oh boy. Oh gosh, I did something wrong. 22, stop loss, 28.87. Okay, and there we go. Got it both in. So now I'm on NVIDIA. I'll tell you a story about Zach Johnson. Zach Johnson, this is a cool story. So Zach's wife is named Wendy, and Wendy reached out to me to learn trading because she's one of those people that likes to master everything. And when she does master something, she literally becomes the best in the world at it. But she wanted to do that with trading. And she tried. She gave it a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort. And she hired me as a coach weekly. I was working with her weekly. And about every second or third session, she would say, you know what? My husband would be so much better at this than me. I'm going to get him to do this. And I was like, cool. Right. And she would say that over and over and over. And apparently, eventually, he heard her say that. I was like, really? I'd be good at this? Because he was really skeptical of trading. I'm not wrong, Zach. I think I'm getting the story correct. Zach was the go to work, 401k, make money, be amazing dad, be a great husband, pour into your family, but have a job and kick ass and have a good retirement when you're 67. You cannot trade though. Trading is gambling. That's weird. So you watched a few videos and then type in a 5 if you have at some point fallen into the rabbit hole. Your boy, Zach Johnson, fell into that rabbit hole where you're doing 12 hours a day of charts and practice and studying and just getting at it. Now, I'm not saying active trading. I'm not saying they're sitting there pressing the buttons. I'm saying studying and just looking and memorizing and reading every article out there. And eventually, my guy, Zach Johnson, got really good. To the point where when I ask a question, Zach knows the answer to it. No matter where I'm asking that question or what the question is about, Zach knows. And he also went to Lake Tahoe trading retreat. He's been to the trading retreat on the islands. He's been everywhere, all over. He spent a lot of money, but he had some money in an IRA, right? He had some money in savings because he's been doing that for 20 years. So he's like, you know what? Let me take some of this aside and put this into my education. I get it. I got to spend a little bit of money. At what thing in the world do you not spend money at? Right? So you spend a little bit of money, and my man got it. And back in March, February timeframe, he quit his job. And currently, actually, I don't even know where they are. Where are you and your wife right now? Are you guys still in the Dominican Republic, or are you somewhere else? I don't even know where they're at. They're back in Colorado. Okay. So Zach and his wife were at one point in the DR just chilling for like 5 or 6 months, living the life. Zach would send me pictures on the beach, taking some trades, making a few R's, doing his thing. Team, you will not respect yourself until you take a leap of faith at some point in your life. Think about that for a moment. You ever get in that, man, I just don't feel like I've accomplished anything. All this time's gone by and I haven't really done much with my life because you haven't taken a leap. A real one, a real scary leap. You haven't jumped yet. And Tony Pollock told me, and I learned this from him, that you can jump. Sometimes God will catch you. Sometimes you'll grow wings and fly. Or in my case, you will fall and flat on your face and you will taste rocks in your mouth for years and you'll be at rock bottom because you needed to be there to learn your lesson because you would not have learned it any other way. Let that one sink in for a moment. Cam says, have you ever considered moving to Puerto Rico because you can day trade tax-free? Cam, bro, I love paying taxes and I love America. I've been all the countries. Dog, I'll pay my taxes so much. Holy smokes. Hector, you going to go back to Cuba anytime soon? Come on, Hector. Dude, it's so cool down there. Go down, man. Stay. Leave your perfect palace in Florida and just go back. This is it, baby boys. This is it. I'm going to pay my taxes. I love this country. Pay them. Increase them. I don't care. I'll make more money. Now, granted, can we do things better with our taxes than we're doing them now? Yeah. Hello. Have you been to Chicago? But nah. Not going to go to Puerto Rico. Not going to go to Bali. Not going to go to the Cayman Islands. Not going to go to Bermuda. I'm right here, baby. U.S. Born and bred. Greatest country in the world. I'll visit Puerto Rico for a few months. All right. NVIDIA. Slowly crushing. Your boy NVIDIA bounced off the 50 EMA on a monthly. That was its pullback. And I think it can go higher. I do think it goes up to probably 206. Mike says, no capital gains in Puerto Rico. It's not that easy, man. That's what the Instagram TikTokers will tell you, but you got to fully commit. There's also no capital gains in Hong Kong or the Cayman Islands. There's a lot of places with no capital gains. Move there. A lot of hoops you got to jump through, man. A lot. You got to go full in, full send. My man, full send. Jason says, do we have access to the Google Sheet as part of the free week? I don't think you do, Jason. unfortunately. So NVIDIA, all I can say is I know a lot of you have shares of NVIDIA long-term, and why would you not? I would get into a collar right here. I would start protecting myself just a little bit. I do think we go higher. We had a perfect double bottom. Type in a 9 if you can see a bear candle closing above the 10 EMA. I'll point it out to you just in case, but there it is. New white soldier the next day. So your entry is somewhere right around there. And there's plenty of swing trade money right there to be made on NVIDIA. Nice little growth, nice little move. And it'll pause out here for a little bit, but I think we'll pop a little bit higher. Just make sure you don't go bullish at 200 because that was, you missed your move $50 ago. And yeah, we'll just keep a close on it. But I think ultimately we probably go back up to 207 before we have a little bit of a bigger pullback on NVIDIA. CrowdStrike, no clue what this one's doing. It's just compressing, but I do like this candle a lot. Big fan of this one. So this is not going to be an official trade, but this will be, if you know what you're doing, there's your perfect candle and just right up into the 200 maybe. Set a little alert skis and get that bad boy in. USO, United States Oil Fund. Weekly chart. 200 simple moving average is 65.30. Monthly chart. There's a lot of problems with the USO Oil Fund. I can tell you that. Not even going to go into it right now, but I mean, that is a head and shoulders pattern because what's amazing is tech is starting to rebound and now energy is having its struggle. That's why I'm just like, man, this market's only being propped up by a few companies. Strong support. Absolutely a great spot to buy if you are buying low and selling high. Can trade down to here and bounce. It's literally done it 3 weeks ago. Buy low, sell high. That's USO. If you're going to short it, let it make a new low and then short the retest and see if it goes down a little bit more. Boeing. Boeing had a cute gap the other day, and it is retesting that. It retested that retest gap a little bit. Now we're just kind of slowly climbing higher. Weekly chart doing its thing. This purple line's the 200 simple on a monthly. That is a good support. Type in a 5 if you think that Boeing is an unbreakable basket. I mean, just from a fundamental standpoint, I'm going to throw in a 5. That doesn't mean that you have to buy shares, but that does mean that it's not going to go to 0. If Boeing goes to 0, we have a lot of problems in the US. Many. More than 7. More than 7 problems. There will be a few. On a large grand scale. Although, when are they going to make planes without ashtrays in the laboratory? I'm still confused by that. I was in an Emirates flight like 3 weeks ago. It was a Boeing 777. And they're like, this is a state-of-the-art, brand new, got made and whatever 9 days ago. And I go into the laboratory, ashtrays everywhere. I'm just like, they're required by regulation, says Matthew. What? Oh, God. You guys remember what I was saying about they're not paying our taxes as good as they could? You know what I'm talking about? Mike says, because people smoke in the bathroom, yes, they break the law. I don't know. Mike says, do other countries let you smoke on flights? No, that's a whole world thing. I'm done. I can't figure that one out. But Boeing, buy it around 147 if it pulls back to that price. Long term, I think this one's going to be just fine, but you do want to buy the dip on this. Square, I sold a covered call at 140 for October. Looking at the gap on earnings, I think I probably should have sold the 100 for October, but it's going to gap down on earnings. I do think it could trade back down, most likely into Hearski, which is around 75. Probably trade down there. And I do still think it'll buyable as buyable. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy back my covered call tomorrow, and I'll buy 2 or 3 more shares tomorrow. I'll set a limit, good till cancel by for those shares at 75 and just kind of slowly keep buying those. Brett, you're the man. I'm going to read that right now. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to derail the whole show because why not? Airplanes have ashtrays in their restroom lavatories because airline companies are legally required to do so. It's a legal requirement because despite constant reminders and warnings, some passengers still smoke aboard planes. Isn't it illegal? Hopefully you already know that. Not the word washroom, restroom, lavatory. Planes cannot take off if they don't have an ashtray in their restrooms. Wow. Incredible. That's called leadership with no backbone, is what that's called. That's called a weak government. Or people just not caring. One of the two. Or it's a government saying, we have other things that we can worry about rather than ashtrays. All right. Square gapping down 7% pre-market. So it's getting a little hosed in the earnings session. I think this could be a good gap tomorrow for a little bit of sales skis. I think this will drop a little bit. Some selling will come in, not huge amounts, but a little bit. We're quite above the moving averages. So short sell off into 75, and then maybe it'll get bought up some, but I will buy back my covered call tomorrow and just sell another one, a few weeks or months down the road. PayPal had a great gap. Very, very nice move. And again, long-term, I think this is a solid accumulation spot on PayPal. I'm going to keep a pretty close eye on this one. This has been a big, big move recently. And this is not the first bear candle closing above the 10 EMA, obviously, but this is a nice little hammer. So what I'm going to do is draw some lines, come back to it tomorrow. And if it still looks as good, we could set that trade up because I do think you can get some good movement. Nice overall trend, great company. Type in a 9 if you did not know that they own Venmo. See if there's any 9s coming in. Cool, got some people learning something new. So they do own Venmo, and why not? Got all that financial data. Get it to win it. Lucid, I finally get to short the worst company in the world. Nice. So Lucid gapped down on earnings. They have a bull candle closing below the 10 EMA. Here's the 10 EMA, and there is some support that I would like it to break through. So we will see if it does. The stop loss, let's see where a good stop loss on Lucid will be. Yeah, above the 10 on the weekly. Is it going to actually go down? I don't know. I don't know. Is it out of support? Yes, it is out of support. So what I'm going to do is let it trade sideways one more day. One more day. And we'll set it up tomorrow. If it breaks through tomorrow, I'll do a limit sell. I don't think that we're going to look for a huge win on this one because it is at support. It's at a very strong support. But if that strong support breaks and all these bulls get trapped, it could absolutely go lower. Rick says I thought it was a downtrend. Yep, that's why it says bearish right there. Looking to short. Looking to make money if it continues lower. But it's at a strong support, so it can bounce. I'm just surprised that they're still around, seeing that they haven't actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Seeing how they haven't actually made anything. Yes, that's what I'm looking for. Thank you. Brought in revenue. Weird. What? Who needs that? Speaking of no revenue, RIVN. You did get a bear candle on a weekly chart closing above the 10. That is a powerful aspirational bullish signal. And this thing has gotten so beat up. It was at $19. Talk about the biggest bubble of all time. It was at 180 and it's just gone straight down. Mike says, do you take short interest into consideration when trading a stock? Sometimes. Yeah, especially if I'm trying to go long. I think that can be a good a good point to consider every now and then. We are getting above the 100. Earnings is around the corner, and I'll say earnings in air quotes. But a quick pullback, a quick little snap down could be a buying opportunity. But I think Rivian, I've seen more Rivian vehicles than Lucid vehicles. And this is worth watching. I'll put on the list for Monday. And we'll keep an eye on it, and we'll see what happens over earnings. But this thing can get squeezed out a little bit higher. We're down 79%. I mean, could it go to 44 and then go to 0? Sure. But there's some meat on the bones here, and I have no problem getting into a little bit of a trade if there is one. CROX, aka the shoes that every trader wears. CROX had a glorious pullback, but is well above COVID lows and is essentially right now retesting its 2008 highs. This one did survive 2008 quite nicely. And I have a hard time really seeing some similarities to CROX then and CROX now as far as the actual chart is concerned. But what I can say is it had a big drop, and now it's above the 200 simple moving average. If you're buying it because you, I mean, let's do a quick survey. Type in a C if you own some CROX. I won't call out your name. I won't make fun of you. Shane, you wear CROX? Just kidding. All right. So Shane's the only person who's brave enough to admit it. That's fair. That's fair. Hey, Jill says, I'm wearing mine right now. I like your honesty, Jill. And I actually really like this doji. I like that doji. That's a lot of bear volume. Let's come back to CROX tomorrow, because if that starts to pop, you're going to have some short traders who are like, what? CROX? Nike. The opposite of CROX. Kind of. Nike's one of those long-term buy it here type of prices. Accumulate slowly. Don't be too aggressive. But if you wear Nikes, if you like Nikes, if you're a Nike fanboy, if you're a Jordan fanboy or girl, buy low, sell high, accumulate. Don't be aggressive. Just be an owner rather than just a consumer. But I have a very, very hard time shorting Nike profitably, so I'll just kind of leave that alone. Freeport, McMoran, FCX has broken this distribution pattern. We closed below, and we've kind of retested right now. So we almost made it back up to 32.92, but we do have a little bit of weakness. And what's super, super interesting about FCX is you have 3 days of inside pressure building. So what I would do is just short the bricks off of it if it breaks below here, and be a little bit quicker on the exit, probably exit down into this gap right there. Short there, stop there, target there. So get in bearish 28.42, exit 30.07, target 26.57. Let the downward general pressure hopefully cause that to drop a little bit more. Ford down 2% today. Tony's got himself a collar, so he's happy if Ford goes up. And I think I'm just looking at that for Tony, realistically. This does look like a potential 1, 2, 3. So we're going to have a little bit of a 4 where we rest for a few weeks and then we slowly climb higher into a wave 5. That's a very real possibility. And that's essentially what I got on Ford. Long-term weekly chart, you bounce off the 200 perfectly. Talk about an indicator that can be useful. Look at, imagine buying at $11 on Ford. Now it's at $15.37. That's a nice $4 per share gain on a very liquid stock. And that is it on Ford. That's all I got. Beyond the Meat, still around, probably not for long though. This looks like a death chart. It looks like a death spiral. I would not buy Beyond Meat unless it was for a day trade, because it just goes lower often. So short the rip or do nothing. Evening star reversal, failure of the 100, still money to be made on the downside. That's probably the only way to play Beyond Meat right now, at least. Choo Choo. CSX, another company that bounced nicely off the 200 simple. Blue chip, long-term, steady Eddie, just growth over time. I remember trading CSX in 2012 in this channel. That was before the split. But this thing had a channel from like 20 to 30 that lasted for like 6 months. And I made a lot of money on that little move down there in CSX. But it had, I think, a split 2 times since then. Well, anyway, slow growth, really good dividend company, transportation / railroads not going anywhere, infrastructure is not going to go anywhere. But this does seem to me like a very, very, very fast run up. Very fast. And we're actually gapping down, or so it seems right now, below the 100 and below that little doji candle. That's interesting. I'll put down the list for tomorrow, and I might even put down the list for a day trade, because if it opens below 32.58, that could be a good short tomorrow for a day trade. I do think just some of these stocks have just gone up a little too fast in the last 3 weeks. I think there's going to be a slight little correction coming that's going to bite some people, but then, you know, let's make some money on the downside. KRO, no idea what this is. Chemicals and supply. Interesting gap, very interesting candle. Unique volume. Obviously, it's a hammer. Ooh, pretty sideways. Whoa, very sideways. The exact same price it was in 2004. Jeff says, can you share the link to Dave's YouTube videos that you showed earlier? You can just type in David Wygant into YouTube and watch anything that you would like on that awesome dude. Yeah, man. Wygant, W-Y-G-A-N-T. Crystal says, this is ADP's competitor. Well, ADP is doing great, and this one is not. Very sideways. I wouldn't touch this one if I had to. However, it's gapping up on earnings above the high of yesterday. I thought this was earnings, but if it really does open above here, I can almost tell you what it's going to do. It's going to gap up, run up a little bit into like 1729, pull back into 1668, and probably close with a small bear candle. Trade back down to here, and then maybe give you an opportunity to go long in a few weeks. But that is a very nice candle, and if you're trading it, be quick, just because the overall trend is sideways. We did not get triggered into Royal Caribbean, at least not yet. I'll leave it open for a little bit longer. We got very close to getting filled. Low is 38.09. Our entry was 37.35. So we've missed it by less than $1 so far. If it runs without us, I will cry. I like this setup a lot. But also watch this for a day trade. So if it opens above the high of today, tomorrow morning, that could be a nice little day trade opportunity. But we do have it set up for a swing trade. Avis Budget Group. This is Jeff Hall's favorite company. If he rents a car, it's through Avis. I'm just kidding. I have no idea if that's true. You had some really, really weird 2021 stuff happening here on Avis. And if I'm being honest, it's still weird. It's still very strange. It's that massive car shortage. I mean, this is a real wick, by the way. So yeah, Avis has done some very, very peculiar chart movement. But this is a bear candle. It's working on closing above the 10 EMA on a weekly chart and daily chart. I'm going to put on the list for tomorrow. And as of right now, it actually looks pretty okay. Pressure is building. And I will put it here. Stop loss here. And let's just come look at it one more day. I just have a problem paying $185 a share for Avis Budget Group, because it was like $12 a share a year ago. Crazy, crazy, just astronomical run up. Wild. All right, last but not least is YETI. Now, YETI got absolutely deflated during earnings with a strong gap down. They must have really missed. No. Barely missed. I don't know why they gapped down that bad then. Coming into summer, that seems like a shakeout. That seems like it's just trying to shake some weak hands out the market. I mean, it's a strong gap, but it's worth watching. But I kind of would be a little bit more bullish on, I mean, strong summer revenue, $422 million in the last quarter. Inventory out the gazoo, says Brad. I'd have to look into it a little bit more. Let's give it a day or two, but this is a very good gap. It's an extremely interesting candle. And the question that you're probably wondering is, with this gap and go, can we just flush lower? And the answer is absolutely. I don't think we do. I'd be very careful tomorrow shorting YETI. Wait 1 or 2 days, let some compression come in. And if that compression comes in, then short it. I like that plan much better. I will watch it tomorrow, and I will put on the list for Friday just in case. Boys and girls, if you are looking to continue with RLT, today is the day. There is 1 day left, of course, but after Friday next week, all of you hopefully will be a part of RLT, and we can learn together, trade together, grow together, and enrich lives together. What stocks would you like me to look at for you tomorrow? Kimberly Clark, ADT, Riot Blockchain, Coin, ELF, AutoZone, JP Morgan, Amazon, Can Do, Starbucks, DraftKings, Mongo Database, Datadog, Zim, Shopify, AMD. Jill says they will not regret it, Jeremy. No, they won't. But thank you for saying that. I appreciate it, baby girl. But yeah, I've never had anyone who signed up for RLT and goes, that was terrible. And if you do sign up for RLT and you're like, that's just this is garbage. I don't like anything that anyone says ever. I'll just give you your money back. I don't care. I love your money. I love money. I love everyone's money. Let's move it around. But if you are not happy, I'll just give you your money back. That's simple. Mike says, who can I talk to for more info? I don't know, man. Just email me. What do you want to talk about? Email me. Everyone here has my phone number. Text me. You guys, my number's all over the internet. Talk to people every day. I don't know, whatever you need, man. 457,000 places to contact RLT. Let me know what I can do to help you. Let's enrich lives together. Make a bunch of money. Let's do big things. Let's help other people. Let's live our mission. Let's live our passion. Let's live our purpose. And I will see you tomorrow. And until then, love life, live life, trade. Bye.